ARCANE Act 2, here's my medical analysis of the fight scenes and injuries. Spoilers for episodes 4 to 6. We've skipped a few years since Vi and Powder's tragic separation in episode 3. Silco's gang is smuggling the purple drug Shimmer onto airships when the Firelights intervene. Little do they know that below deck, Jinx is here, waiting with her explosives. Jinx, otherwise known as our cute little Powder, who was taken in by Silco. Jinx attaches grenades to 2 of the Firelights and they are blown to bits. Later in the episode there's a fire and the enforcers go to check it out. Turns out it's Jinx with some more explosive. Kaboom! Jinx gets the legendary Hexakill. Blast injuries are brutal and there are 4 different levels. First level or primary injuries are due to the shockwave. The sheer pressure and speed of the explosion can cause the body to disintegrate. That's called total body disruption. Even if you escape that, the shockwave can still rupture your pressure sensitive organs, your eardrums, lungs and guts. Secondary injuries are due to ballistic trauma, that's from the flying shrapnel and broken glass. Third level or tertiary injuries are caused by being knocked back into solid objects like walls. You can get blunt trauma like broken bones or penetrating injuries if you fall on something sharp. And fourth level or quaternary injuries are other random injuries like flash burns, crush injuries and respiratory injuries from breathing in dust and smoke. Jinx rips the mask off one of the Firelights and she sees her sister Vi's face, but it's actually another girl with pink hair. Jinx breaks down and starts shooting indiscriminately. There are lots of elements here including PTSD. I'm going to make a dedicated video on Jinx's mental health. Make sure to subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss it. It's totally free and I've got loads more fun and educational reaction videos on the way. Okay, I love Caitlyn's forensic analysis of this scenario. I think Caitlyn is great. She follows the trajectory of bullets and finds a trail of blood. One of Silco's goons, the one Vi uppercut, remember? Well, he got hit in the abdomen by Jinx's friendly fire. That can rupture the bowel, causing gas to escape into the abdomen, called pneumoperitoneum. The bullet may have ruptured his pancreas, releasing digestive enzymes. But he's still alive, conscious and talking, so that means the bullet probably missed his main artery, the aorta, and he's avoided a fatal bleed. Whatever the case, the dude needs to be taken to the operating theatre. Stat. Since the years have passed, Jace and his partner Victor have made huge strides with Hextech. Jace uses the Hextech gem to power up the Atlas gauntlets to lift really heavy objects and crush them. Like bro, I don't know how heavy the gauntlet itself is, and then lifting up the heavy rock? I guess the gauntlet counteracts gravity or something, because the mass of the rock isn't gonna change. I'm probably overthinking this. I mean, it's magic, right? The Guinness World Record for heaviest deadlift is 501 kilograms over 1,100 pounds by The Mountain from Game of Thrones. And the heaviest weight ever lifted is over 2,400 kilograms or 5,300 pounds. So it's theoretically possible. But one thing's for sure, my boy Jace lifts. We see Jinx and Silco's uncomfortable father-daughter relationship. She injects some Shimmer into his damaged eye. So apparently Shimmer has healing abilities, although a bigger amount can turn you into a crazed monster. There are important conditions that are treated with eye drops like glaucoma, hay fever or dry eyes. But we do actually sometimes inject medication straight into the eye. I know, yikes. These are intravitreal injections that go into the vitreous chamber of the eye. Examples include antibiotics for endophthalmitis, a severe infection of the inner eye, or anti-VEGF injections that treat age-related macular degeneration, which can cause blurred vision or total loss of vision if it's not treated. Episode 5. Poor Victor looks really ill. He's one of my favourite characters, but he's looking pale and gaunt. He was coughing last episode, now he's coughing up blood. That's called hemoptysis. A lung infection or pneumonia is the commonest cause of hemoptysis. Other conditions include bronchiectasis, pulmonary embolism, or severe heart failure. If we're talking rare conditions you'd find in an episode of House, then we can include Goodpasture syndrome, granulomatosis with polyangiitis, and lupus pneumonitis. And of course, coughing up blood could be a sign of lung cancer, so if it ever happens, you must go to see your doctor. Sadly, the doctors realise that Victor does not have a good prognosis. We're not sure of his diagnosis, but Jace seems to think it might be something to do with the gases in the fissures where Victor grew up. So maybe some kind of progressive lung fibrosis or chronic chemical pneumonitis from the toxic pollution, who knows? we see him put on oxygen to help him breathe. These nasal cannulae can provide up to 4 litres of oxygen a minute. In acutely unwell patients, we can use a reservoir mask to give up to 15 litres of oxygen a minute. And then comes the epic fight scene between Vi and Savika. Vi knees Savika in the face. We see the superficial bleeding and bruising on her face, but she's just escaped a jaw dislocation. Vi slams her up against the wall, but then we see Shimmer powering up Savika's metal arm, which seems to give her super strength. Savika headbutts Vi and punches her into a wall. After an exchange of blows, Savika grabs Vi by the throat and body slams her. Like, what am I supposed to analyze here? They're messing each other up, bro. Okay, then Vi knees Savika in the groin, a highly sensitive area rich with nerves and blood vessels, and it could cause a pubic bone fracture. Men might feel referred pain in the abdomen because the nerves that supply the testes run up towards the abdomen. Vi slams Savika's head into a wall multiple times, likely giving her a concussion, and then she punches her abdomen repeatedly. That's where the solar plexus or celiac plexus lies, a bunch of nerves. If you're hit there, it will completely knock the wind out of you. And she finishes Savika off by launching her through a wall. But then Savika stabs Vi in the upper abdomen. It looks like the right upper quadrant where the liver, gallbladder and bowels are, so any of those could have been ruptured. Bile and air could be escaping into the abdomen, and of course there's a risk of bleeding and infection. Vi needs surgery, antibiotics, painkillers and fluids now. In episode 6, Caitlyn manages to help Vi escape through the Undercity. Caitlyn buys a potion from a very shady chemist which looks like it contains Shimmer. It helps to heal Vi, but at what cost? Well, I wish we had an insta-heal potion in modern medicine. It'd make life so much easier. Caitlyn and Vi come face to face with a community of Shimmer addicts who are living in the underground hooked onto it by Silco. This touches a very serious note about drug addiction that reflects the opioid epidemic in real life. In the hospital, we use carefully controlled doses of opioids like morphine for pain relief. But opioid addiction from long-term misuse can cause severe health problems. Even a one-time accidental overdose can lead to death. So it's really important to seek help from a healthcare professional if you or a loved one are struggling with these issues. Young Victor finds himself in a cave inhabited by Singed and his dragon-esque pet Rio, actually a pink pixie manda. Victor feeds Rio, who slobbers all over his hand. When your pets come and lick you, it's cute and disgusting at the same time. But did you know that dog or cat saliva can actually make you really sick? That's because it commonly contains a bacteria called Capnocytophaga canemorsus. It can start with flu-like symptoms, but it can lead to amputation and even death. Bites, scratches and close contact can expose you to this bacteria, and it's even worse if you have a weakened immune system. So pet lovers, beware! Jinx releases a gas to knock Savika out. When we use anesthetic agents, we use them in a very controlled way. We use gases like sevoflurane to put patients to sleep before surgery, and we put a tube in to control their airway. But sleeping gases have been used for malicious purposes. And if it's a drug like fentanyl that causes respiratory depression as well, the person can stop breathing and that's it. So when this building comes tumbling down, we see Silco crouching down and protecting his head and neck. A collapsed building can cause all kinds of trauma. The falling debris can cause crush injuries to the torso and limbs, and blunt trauma to the internal organs. In a situation where there's a collapsing building, stay calm, protect your head and neck, use stairs and not the elevators to escape, and ideally stay away from glass and heavy objects. It's best to have an emergency plan in place, especially if you live in an earthquake-prone region. Vi and Jinx are finally reunited, but again the Firelights intervene. Another epic fight ensues with Vi throwing punches, but Jinx is using her machine gun and ploughing down the Firelights as Vi looks on in horror. What happened to my little sister Powder? Jinx bashes the Firelights' face in with her machine gun. That will cause some serious facial bone fractures and a concussion, but he manages to stab Jinx near the knee, where it could damage the peroneal nerve, the popliteal vessels, or the many ligaments and tendons around the knee. As Vi reaches out for her sister, she's knocked out. The Firelights take Vi and disappear into thin air. Jinx calls out for her, but Vi's gone.
Vi?
Again. And now Jinx is alone.
No!
Again. Watch my medical analysis of ARCANE Act 1 on screen now. ARCANE Act 3 reaction coming soon, so please like, subscribe, and stay groovy.